hello. No people that are here right now because no one listens to this intro, at least in the first part, because the first 10 seconds is basically nothingness. So to everybody who's now in here, congratulations. Welcome into the show. We are back after a week-long hiatus. Every year we take the Wednesday before Thanksgiving off. Obviously, we had our starts a different day on Saturday, so hopefully you tuned in there to ask any of your questions. But we're back. We're here for what is now the final playoff push. For most of you, it'll be a 2-week playoff push, I believe. For some of you, it may be a 3-week if you're in a smaller league and you only do 16 and 17, but going to be a big push for the playoffs these next 2 weeks. Normally, it's only 1 week after Thanksgiving, but remember, that extra game is going to play a big factor, and we're here to break down all of it and everything about it. Let's get into it. Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zollo. I just want everyone to know that does listen to the intro, watches the live shows. I have never wrote or written down a single intro, so I want you to know I'm literally coming up with stuff out of my behind. I don't write anything down.
I say, if you want to hear a shitty intro, tune in on Sundays for DFS because I just jump right into it. I don't even waste anybody's time.
Ryan doesn't even welcome anyone into the show.
I do. I feel like that has to be a thing with Club Fantasy, so I do welcome in, and I always start everything with what is up. Like, that's my thing, but then I'm like straight to business.
What's up, guys? My name's Corey. Any
That's
Family Guy fans will understand that reference. Also learned that Ryan's an ass, and I just learned this. Ryan is actually Puerto Rican, and his last name was supposed to be Cruz.
Yep.
But he threw a hissy fit at age 8 and hurt his father's feelings deeply and is now Weisse.
I'd say so much we're just throwing everything out. I am a bastard. Born out of wedlock.
I mean, Ryan, come on. This we knew.
I was going to say, come on. It's all makes sense now for those who know.
Hey, so was Alexander Hamilton. He did some cool things.
That's right. I should be running this fucking country.
Better bastard than you, but you know.
Whoa. I also married up.
He did. Okay, yeah, that's true. He did marry up. Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Basically Alexander Hamilton without the singing chops.
And built the entire financial institution of America. But
I worked in banking for quite a few years.
I mean, what the similarities are just unreal.
Uncanny at this point.
Uncanny, honestly. Okay. Boss Man Fat, welcome back, man. Good to see you.
Buddy.
Let me go through these news and notes because these are actually important this week. Last week didn't, or 2 weeks ago didn't really matter. There's actually some important ones this week. So, Christian McCaffrey's on IR again. I hate to say this, but this is sadly becoming a real thing, which sucks. Yep. I assume Josh typed this. He saw a great tweet from Frank Amarante.
Amarante, I believe it's how it's
Amarante. Sorry, it's more official.
He's definitely
than
Italian,
that.
but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's an Italian last name. Yes. CMC's become the Mike Trout of fantasy football. For those of you that live under a rock, Mike Trout is a baseball player, and for those of you that thought you knew professional sports, Mike Trout is a baseball player. Baseball doesn't do a good job of marketing their players, but yes, Mike Trout.
Here's the thing. I knew Mike Trout was good. Does he just get hurt a lot? I don't understand.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, because I don't follow baseball a lot.
Mike Trout. Everyone, if you ask any baseball analyst or any baseball like hardcore baseball watchers nowadays, they will tell you Mike Trout is one of, if not the best baseball players ever.
I was gonna say, I knew he and wasn't it Bryce Harper came up like right.
Bryce
around
Harper's
the same
not
time?
even close.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh no, yeah, no. They came up at the same time.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper can't hold the jockstrap of said Michael Trout.
Yeah, when it comes to pure talent, Mike Trout is
unreal.
Baseball. Yeah.
They said he had a down month of September, and he finished the season at 356 batting average. For those that don't know, over 300 is really good in baseball, and nowadays over 270 is good in baseball. Wow. So the fact he had a bad month and still hit 356, out of control. He's unbelievable. Dalvin Cook suffered a dislocated shoulder and a torn labrum. Likely out 2 games. Alexander Madison plays the Lions this week, ladies and gentlemen. Deebo Samuel suffered a groin injury week to week, so look out for that. Darren Waller, knee injury week to week.
I think
DeAndre
he's
Swift,
officially doubtful for this week.
I believe so. I think Deebo Samuel is
right now,
officially
anyway.
doubtful as well.
But I have to just interject. We've had our first doubtful player play. Elijah Mitchell went from doubtful to questionable to active, so he is the first one to pull it off.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. DeAndre Swift shoulder injury on Thursday. Excuse me. He's questionable for week 13. Miles Sanders tweaked his ankle on Sunday. Unknown if it's related to the ankle injury that landed him on IR. Doesn't sound too serious. He should be okay for the Jets on Sunday. Jalen Hurts also dealing with an ankle injury. Unsure if he's in the lineup on Sunday. Gardner Minshew season, question mark, all capitals.
I put that in there just for you guys.
I
love that.
So big when I saw it.
I love that. Zeke's dealing with a knee injury. He was supposed to be out this week, and then Jerry Jones said, nope, you're taking a full load this week. I want everyone to interpret that as they want to interpret it. I want everyone to interpret that as they want to interpret it as Jerry Jones saying that Zeke will take a serious load. That's it. That's all I want you to interpret it as. Dan Arnold, the greatest streaming tight end to ever live. He suffered a sprained MCL. He's on IR. James O'Shaughnessy, baby. Fire it up. He's back. Randall Cobb, groin injury. Green Bay's on a bye. So it gives him time to recover. Darrell Henderson, strained quad. J.D. McKissick carted off Monday night. He had a great game before he got carted off.
Yeah. They're making it like he's going to play. Like they're making like it's not that big a deal thus far. So
yeah. And then Taysom Hill will start Thursday against the Dallas Cowboys. And we'll get to a fun prop bet later that you can place for an easy 100 points on Thrive. What am I going to not take a free win? What is this?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the question we have. First off, what's up, Elixirs? Hello, man. Boss man. Should he drop Cole Beasley, Rashad Bateman, or Sterling Shepard for Dontrell Hilliard? He has Devontae Adams, Deontay Johnson, Amari Cooper. He doesn't exactly need the 4th, 5th, or 6th receiver, whoever you want it to be. I would drop Cole Beasley. I don't think anybody would rush to get Cole Beasley.
I don't think anybody would rush to get Sterling Shepard either.
Agreed, but if Shepard becomes healthy, he's a guaranteed 9 targets and 5 catches.
I know we've been saying that for ages, and I'm sure he's going to come out and prove us right. But I would love to see a Kenny Galladay, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney game just to see what the hell that's going to look like. So,
but are we? Is the question.
No. Well,
there you go. At some point, one of them is always hurt.
Yeah,
and then now there's talk that Daniel Jones may not even play this week. So
DJ,
is Mike Glennon going to make Sterling Shepard a thing?
No.
You know what I think the Giants should do? I think they should draft back-to-back ACC quarterbacks and take Sam Howell and just see if it's the conference or if they're just bad at drafting.
There you go.
Spoiler alert, it's the conference, not named Clemson, although DJ Ugalala looks like absolute doo-doo. So, yeah, this is a bad year for quarterbacks, and the Giants need one.
Names up at this point.
The dude's last name is DJ Ugalele. It is real. Sounds fake. It's real.
I remember seeing a story about him last year.
And the talent that Dabo Swinney must have saw was also fake at the time he was coming out of high school because, wow, is he bad. Okay, anyways. Albert, I think he's new. Albert, welcome in.
Yes, hello.
We just start Madison over Zeke 1,000 times yet. That's not even smash that. Yes. There's a prop bet later on that has Zeke's yardage that we'll talk about. Just Ezekiel Elliott hasn't gone over 70 yards rushing since week 4.
And the Saints are the number 3 rush defense against fantasy running backs, and I think they're number 1 in yardage. If not number 1, they're number 2. So.
They're top 5
Zeke's
in, I believe, all major rushing
this year
categories.
Has come on touchdowns.
Yep,
it feels like.
And he had 2 games over 100 yards, and I think outside of that, he is not top 70.
Plus, Amari Cooper's likely back now, and this Saints team can be.
Yeah, but I mean, after missing 2 weeks with COVID, how good are we expecting him to actually be?
But I'm just saying the Saints can be thrown on, so now you have all 3 wide receivers out there. Cedric Wilson's out, but it's looking like it's going to be a big game for Dak Prescott. I'm not expecting much out of Zeke.
Big Alexander Madison week, definitely.
Certainly.
Need to start, too, in a standard. T. Higgins, Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, Jerry Jeudy, Odell Beckham. Assumes the answer will be T. Higgins and Cooks, but who knows? Does he drop any of them? I wouldn't drop any of them at this point. Odell Beckham,
I say
was droppable until Robert Woods got hurt. I would probably go Higgins and Cooks as well. You could weirdly convince me of Odell over Cooks.
I was waiting for you to say it.
But
the other thing I'll throw out is the Chargers are so good against fantasy wide receivers.
Are they good against fantasy wide receivers, or they're just not challenged because their run defense is so bad?
That's a good point.
Yeah, but they also score, so you do have to keep up with them. It's going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't love Higgins. I love him of this group, the most likely to score a touchdown. I just don't know if everything else is going to be there.
I think Cooks is probably the safest, and then I would chase some upside with OBJ personally.
That's honestly what I would do as well, based on my rankings.
All right. I know Joe had to step off for a quick.
I said, I'm not even on our screen, so I didn't realize what was going on. I was looking up stats.
So with that being said, we'll hop into 3 up, 3 down here, and I'll start with myself here since I'm first on the show sheet. Lombardi Lenny, because he was one of my top.
I could take this. Okay. I'm back. I could take this.
This is the part of the show Joe's been waiting on.
How dare you? Yeah. What the hell, Leonard Fournette? What the hell, Leonard Fournette?
Jesus.
Yeah. What a week.
Yeah.
One of my fantasy teams runs entirely through the Bucs offense, except Leonard Fournette.
Oh, good job.
Yeah.
So they had no offense this week.
Well, Gronkowski smashed.
Hey, Gronk did well.
Yeah, Gronk did
Gronkowski smashed. Godwin, Brady, and then the Bucs defense.
Yeah. It was fun looking at Godwin at negative points for 3/4 of the fucking game.
Oh, it was painful. Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, Waddle.
I love the touchdown celebration. That was amazing. Yeah, I remember we had the question last week from somebody on Starts a Different Day.
Oh, which one had the most upside? Yeah.
It was an upside. It was in a standard. Who would you take? And Jalen Waddle was one of the options.
Yeah, he was one of them. Yeah.
And we had all said
we were worried about no yards.
Yeah, we were like, not Jalen Waddle, because he'll catch 12 passes. It just will be for 50 yards. He caught 12 passes this week, except it was for 200 yards.
Yep.
And a couple touchdowns. So
the kid's legit.
Oh, he's for real.
Yep.
He's for real.
And for what it's worth, I know Deontay was in that conversation, and he still had a good week this week. Yep. So
yeah. I think we all said Deontay Johnson for the touchdown upside, and then there was none touchdown.
Ben Roethlisberger is so bad.
He's so bad.
So bad.
Now, I was in Pensacola visiting Maggie's family, so I didn't have the Red Zone channel, so I was stuck to one game at a time.
Yeah.
So I didn't see any of the Pittsburgh
Cincinnati
Cincinnati
game.
He's
throwing a shot put. It's
been looked like he's been throwing a shot put for 3 seasons. That's not surprising to me.
Yep.
And then Elijah Mitchell. I'm just glad the $100 of fab you spent on him in week 1 is finally paying off in week 13.
But let's be real.
I'll say week 11.
Who else were you going to spend it on at this point? If you've
Madison.
Been saving all of your fab up till now, who are you blowing it on?
Alexander Madison.
I'm not saying this
Madison's
is the best.
been rostered since week 3.
He was around 50%. The biggest one I saw in every league, I'm in a bunch of leagues, Jamal Williams was the guy, and I would much rather have Eli Mitchell. So
Deshawn Jackson.
You probably could have got him for free. He was not the hottest commodity.
That's a 5-head play. I picked him up for $1.
Yeah, but I was going to say, he did not cost people a lot.
I called that Thursday one on last week's So Captain, My Captain. Just throwing that out there.
Deshawn? You called D-Jax?
Yeah.
The Cowboy Killer. Saw the touchdown come through. I'm like, he's the Cowboy Killer.
And don't forget, it's a Deshawn Jackson revenge game. And if anybody takes that shit seriously, it's Deshawn Jackson.
Yep.
I have already dialed him up. I have DJ Moore on a bye, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, Cortland Sutton's done nothing. Rondale Moore's a bad matchup. Deshawn Jackson.
Yep.
You already know.
Thursday, Deshawn Jackson's last game against Dallas was when he was in Philly. 1 catch, 81 yards, and a touchdown.
Oh,
come on.
That's all he needs. That's all
Every
he
year
needs.
it happens.
The funniest thing is he's projected like 7 points in my
and
league.
He'll get 27 this week.
And I looked at his game log. It's either literally 3 points or 30. There was no in between.
I mean, that's him.
Games.
That's got to be the last 5 years of Deshaun Jackson.
That's his
really.
career.
So, yep.
That's his career.
Early on, he was
except the 1 year with Chip Kelly. He was very consistent that year.
Yes, the 1 year with Chip Kelly was consistent. But other than that, it's literally. I mean, he is the ultimate boomer bust guy.
But he is also I literally wrote a revenge game article because
he's the number
Deshaun
one
Jackson.
revenge game guy.
So.
He is the number one guy where if there is a former team that let him go, he's going to make it could be 10 years after the fact or a team he doesn't give a shit about like the Washington football team. He'll still score on you and he'll make you look stupid. So yes, that is real. And that's home, correct? That's in Las Vegas.
It is.
Oh yeah. Light him up. Ryan, Cordell Patterson, effectiveness at its finest. RB9 on the season and wide receiver 9 on the season.
Yep. And the way more important next fact. My man is now listed as the emergency safety. I need to get him IDP eligible. I need to be able to throw him into my safety spot.
You want to know who I want running back and wide receiver eligible? Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, no shit.
They're the same person.
I'm pretty sure he leads the NFC West in rushing yards over the last.
I think he does.
So yeah.
Name me another running back in the NFC West.
Exactly.
Then nobody. James Conner, but he was he was a touchdown vulture for like the first 9 weeks.
But so is Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, but Deebo runs like 20
it's
touchdowns.
Not really a vulture when you're doing all the
T. Higgins, what a week.
Yeah.
For Mr. T.
Say people wanted to bury him after the first half of the season. I think he's starting to quiet people down.
Yeah, guys, we're always afraid. Oh, there's too many mouths to feed. There's too many mouths to feed.
When you're good at football, you're good at
When you're good at football, you're going to get the football. Like, it's that simple. T. Higgins is out of control. He is A.J. Green. They're the same person. He's A.J. Green.
Well, and you pointed that out during the draft, and then
the moment he came
lined
out.
up. Yep, exactly. I have a friend, diehard Bengals fan, so I take his word as the gospel with the Bengals. And one of the things he said is, and this I put it in my notes, once Joe Burrow realizes he needs to just start taking what's given to him instead of forcing, this team's going to be unstoppable.
Unreal.
Because that's what happened this past week. So,
but I mean, look back at the week against Baltimore. He had 15 targets.
Yep.
Now again, I'm not like the big target guy doesn't get you fantasy points. He still caught 7 of them.
Yeah.
Like he still had a good week.
I said targets lead to fantasy points.
Yes, exactly. And then you have Adam Thielen as well. Someone may want to explain to him how touchdown regression was supposed to work. Wide receiver 7 on the season, tied for the league. I didn't know that tied for the league lead in receiving touchdowns.
Yep.
He has been in the end zone.
Taking an L on that one.
Yeah. So will Hutch. I feel like we need to have him back on.
I was in the middle on Thielen. I wasn't ready to kill him. I just wasn't ready to fully commit.
Oh, I caught shit for having him as a top, I think, 15 wide receiver, and it's looking pretty solid right now. So
I was okay if you stacked up on running back early and took him as your wide receiver too. Like I was cool with that.
And that's essentially what I did in the leagues where I had him. So
yeah, I was cool with that. I was like, if you get him as your flex, that's a steal, in my opinion. But yeah, he's killing it. I was dead center in the middle on Thielen. I didn't know what to think.
I still had him at 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and you actually had him at more touchdowns than me. I gave him too much volume, but he's just making up for it in touchdowns. So,
all right, my 3-ups. I just gave them all nicknames. Hunter Renfrow, also known as God, Gawd. All right, so if there's a hill I'm dying on, I don't want to be associated with James Prochet. I need to be associated with Hunter Renfrow because I have been smashing that drum since he came out. So, Hunter Renfrow, what a guy. Dallas secondary, what a defense. Oh my God, it was almost like they were good for a week. Darnell Mooney, a.k.a. Moondog, D-A-W-G. I'm changing that. I just put that as dog, normal spelling. And, yeah, there was a question, I believe, last week as well, and everyone said to sit Darnell Mooney. I said to start him. It was 2 weeks ago. What one of the two?
I've been on Mooney for a while now, but whatever.
Well, there was a question where they said sit Darnell Mooney.
I've got him in like every league.
Yeah, there was a question where it said sit Darnell Mooney because we weren't big fans of the upside that he had, like the limitations because he didn't have a lot of targets or something like that. He went out for 100, caught a 61-yard touchdown against the Lions. So
all it takes.
Good week.
Yep.
Dawson Knox, I have dubbed him touchdown Jesus.
I've been saying all year, this is Robert Tonyan.
Robert Tonyan. Yep.
2.0.
He is more skilled than Robert Tonyan. Let's be real.
I agree. But I mean, he's making his living on
that's
touchdowns.
What this season. He's actually, when I had done my projections out for the year, I think he's on pace to actually finish with fewer catches than Tonyan finished in that season.
I'm sure.
So.
You know what's funny? The past 2 weeks, my brother has asked me, should I start Dawson Knox or Rob Gronkowski? Each week I've told him Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
And Rob Gronkowski in the last 2 weeks combined have put up more points than Dawson Knox, and Gronkowski has not caught a touchdown. That's unreal. Yeah. So, yeah, Dawson Knox, touchdown Jesus. Here we go. All right, 3 downs. That's okay. All right, Josh, this is hilarious because when I was watching the Fox pregame, there was a teaser that's like the Eagles are back. The Eagles are coming for the NFC West.
Who the fuck would say some dumbass shit like that?
I said out loud, I'm like, the Eagles just lost today. They're losing today. There was no doubt in my mind the Eagles lose today. And lo and behold, they look like, again, I couldn't watch the game.
Jalen Hurts looked like ass.
I saw the interception he threw to Tay Crowder. That was bad. That was bad.
He could have easily had like 5 or 6 picks that game. Like, yeah. He was missing everything.
To me, it screamed trap game because they were on such a roll. They were feeling good. Division opponent. That was a trap game.
And the sad part is the defense still played well. I mean, Saquon had like one big run for like 30-something yards. But outside of that, they mostly contained him. And, I mean, they only gave up 13 points.
I'd say
if they get a normal offensive day from Hurts and Sanders, who I know left early. But, again, Boston Scott, the giant killer. That's what he does. He scores touchdown against the Giants.
If I told any team going into week you just needed to score 2 touchdowns because your defense was going to hold them to 1 touchdown and 2 field goals, you'd feel good.
Yeah.
You'd feel good every week. Every week you'd feel good about that. Yeah. And I do, just bringing that up, the Chiefs, the last 2 times they have been held against good teams to 19 points have been against the Patriots when Brian Hoyer started and the Cowboys where their entire offense was non-existent.
Yeah, if I tell everybody decided to run the football the entire game.
If I told you were holding the Chiefs to 19 points, every team would chalk that up as a win.
That's a win.
That's a win every week. So, Josh, the Eagles, you also have DK Metcalf, 1 catch on 4 targets.
I went into one of my matchups. I was up by 5 points, and all he had was DK left. I was like floored that I won that game.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Could not believe it.
You know what's going to be electric this week is I'm going to go 2-0 against Ryan in fantasy football this year in the Dynasty League. Ryan, you have no idea. I'm setting the best possible lineup.
JT is coming for you.
Yeah. Oh, JT against Houston, baby.
I'm starting to
light it up. Hunter Renfrow against the Washington football team. I might pick up Deshawn Jackson for shits and giggles and start both Raiders wide receivers.
Doesn't matter. I'm starting T.Y. Hilton. It's over.
Oh, shit. He's playing Houston. Yeah, I lost. Wait, why isn't T.Y. Hilton my upside this week? Oh, Hunter Renfrow. Can I get rid of Mo Alley Cox as my upside tight end and just double down on receiver?
No, T.Y.'s mine.
That's rude. Okay. And then Lamar Jackson playing the game with his eyes closed.
Oh, wait, T.Y. isn't mine. I thought you would take him, so I left it. I'm sorry.
T.Y. Hilton, the T.Y. Hilton is the club fantasy upside this week. T.Y. Hilton's club fan. For those that weren't here the first time that heard T.Y. Hilton stats against the Houston Texans, prior to this season, in 18 games against the Texans, he averages 96 yards a game. and has scored 11 touchdowns against that team in 18 games.
And he had, I think, 80 yards on 3 catches.
He had 3 catches.
Debut this year.
Yep.
Yes. And he was only playing
4
catches.
He was only playing like 4 for 4.
Yeah, he was only playing like 40% of the snaps as well. He wasn't even in on most of the snaps.
What he does.
Yeah, he kills the Texans, destroys. Yep. What the hell happened with Cleveland was gifted that game, and they couldn't do anything. Stefanski's play calling was gross.
Yep, and he stuck up for it this week. Even worse in an interview. He said he's comfortable.
And
with
they just lost Jack Conklin too.
Yep,
they're still right
there. That's not good. I don't know what that play calling was. Like, just run quick slants, run quick plays to get the ball to Baker's hands. Why are you doing all this fancy dumb shit? And also stick to running the damn football.
Yep.
At some point, Nick Chubb is going to break a big one. At some point. So stupid. Ryan, Dan Arnold, you said this is all your fault. You make a joke about him being stream of the week rest of the season. Then he gooses. Then he dies.
Yeah.
So
it's not good.
You are really bad this year.
I am a poison.
You are literal poison to anything where you say, "Oh, this is a lock," because Tom Brady you said was foolproof. He ended up QB 20.
Oops. My cash lineup's paid the price on that one. Marlia's wallet paid the price on that one.
Yeah. Any
she's suspending your account, right?
She wrote FanDuel a letter.
Any definites from Ryan this year, stay as far away as you can. Just stay as far away.
Weird year.
Weird year. And then for the Colts, I was also mad that
I was heartbroken.
3 yards for Jonathan Taylor. Come on. Needed 3 more yards to break the record. Now, granted, he is in the same conversation as LaDainian Tomlinson, which is
where he belongs.
Which is kind of okay.
Yeah.
Just all right. Yeah, I wish he had the record.
Yep.
Again, we're assuming he's going to be one of the best running backs ever.
He looks it, man.
He looks absurd.
He looks like a different than any running back playing football when he touches that football. It's Le'Veon Bell-esque with the patience, but just so much stronger and faster.
Yeah, I was going to say
more explosive too.
He's so patient, but he's always moving forward.
Yeah, where Le'Veon danced in the backfield. Somehow Taylor is moving forward and moving into holes.
Yeah.
That didn't even
Taylor makes the decisions a lot quicker than Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah,
his vision is
so fun to watch. We are all blessed to be able to watch the man play. So.
Like you said with Nick Chubb, eventually, Chubb is going to break one. It took Jonathan Taylor to the fourth quarter, but he's going to break one.
Yep.
It happens, and he broke like 7 on that drive.
Yep.
All right, my downs. This is going to be a fun one. Cam Newton is now officially back. Again, I couldn't watch the game, but all I saw was the stat line of 2 completions for 10 yards and 2 completions out of 10 attempts.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he had 65 because of what he hit on.
68 yards because he had a 64-yarder to DJ Moore and 2 interceptions.
What's funny, that play to DJ Moore, if you only saw that, you would have thought Cam had the greatest game ever because it was thrown on a dime. It looked like a perfect play, and then he's just awful the rest of the game.
2 interceptions.
Yep.
Against...
I think he finished 5 of 21 for 93 yards.
Yeah.
And 2 picks. I think that was the final stat line.
The Dolphins.
Their defense has played a little better.
Beat up on their defense.
The Dolphins. Seriously? Like, come on.
It's bad.
It was the same thing. Like, we all expected Lamar Jackson to trounce him on Thursday, and
I say the Dolphins defense. I want to bet, like, as someone who follows defenses, the Dolphins defense is not that bad, but Cam is awful.
Cam is atrocious.
Like, for fantasy purposes, because of his rushing ability, there's going to be games like this, but he's normally better than. But for NFL purposes, he does not belong on a football field.
No, God, no. He's terrible.
Yeah,
it's just.
It sucks because of how good Carolina's defense is. Like, though, I feel awful.
They didn't look that hot this week.
They looked terrible this week. Okay. My next one, the Rams. It's almost like someone said they would get their third straight loss when we had our Saturday show, and someone said, "Oh, they're going to get Odell Beckham? Oh, they'll lose in the divisional round." You guys laughed at me on that one.
Well,
guys, they look terrible.
I'd say I'm anti-Rams to begin with.
This
I
looks
have
like
money on
Detroit
Arizona to win
Matthew
the Super Bowl.
Right
It looks like Detroit Matthew Stafford because he's hurt and he's trying to force the football.
Yep.
Also, Sean McVay is a terrible head coach.
I said they're not running the ball well, so it's not taking any pressure off. Like, it's all just ugly.
I don't know what the solution is, right? Because we all thought their defense is their staple. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, all that stuff.
So you go out and get Von Miller.
And they have flashes where they look great, but wow, were they bad.
Yeah,
they were bad.
No bueno.
And then my third down, Jalen Hurts. The only reason I have him there is because everyone said Jalen Hurts over Aaron Rodgers in our Starts a Different Day show for my dad, and I just want to say, Dad, you should listen to me as always because I'm currently first place in your league and absolutely tearing through teams. So if you listen to me, you still wouldn't have won because you only would have lost by 56 instead of 86.
But at least it would have been respectable.
Yeah, at least it would have been respectable at 56. Maybe just get a better team, I think. Maybe don't have your son in the league next year. Kick him out if you can, because he has the highest win percentage since joining the league and has the highest average finish since joining the league. So, maybe kick your son out so he doesn't steal your money every single year.
Just to defend the Hurts pick, you don't expect a guy who's thrown 4 picks all year to throw 3 in a single game. It's not a common projection.
I'm just saying. But real quick, we want to go back to Ryan comparing to Alexander Hamilton. Ryan, I don't know if you checked your email in the last 5 minutes.
Oh my God, this is so ending up on Twitter after the show.
But Ryan, this is something Maggie whipped up. She said she was inspired by the Hamilton talk, and she just simply put this there up on stream for everyone to see.
It's amazing.
It even has Hamilton right down there. You honestly can't tell the difference.
No,
can't tell the difference.
So legit to me.
The similarities.
Maggie, you are a goddess. You are the best. Thank you so much.
Similarities are uncanny. And Josh has said that should be your new Twitter header.
It's got to be the header. I say I don't want to change the Twitter pick. I'm gonna do it while we're talking now. I don't care what you guys say.
Yep. So that is Ryan is Hamilton. That is one of our overlays now. Is what it is literally named. Ryan is Hamilton. That's what Maggie named the file. Okay, let's get into a couple of these questions. Carrington said he almost angry traded Godwin. That's fair.
I don't blame you.
Back to the Big Ben talk. He says, looks like a raw turkey out there just hobbling around and his arms can barely move.
It's season, so,
Yeah, he's so bad. He is just atrociously awful. For my brother, he says, crazy that he might start Cole Beasley over Brandon Ayuk. The run game is too good for the 49ers, and Beasley should be working in Miles Bryant the whole game. I will say, Miles Bryant actually isn't bad. He will give up some receptions, but he plays very tight coverage on guys. Some guys just really have, it's Miles Bryant. He's not the best at defending the football, but he's tight and close on a lot of guys' routes. That being said, he could line up on Jalen Mills. I don't really know. I mean, he makes a good point with the run game for the 49ers, and obviously Ayuk is non-existent because Deebo Samuel is the run game with Elijah Mitchell.
Heading into last week, Brandon Ayuk was wide receiver 13 over the last 4 weeks. He has 5 straight weeks of over 90% snap share. He is running as the number 1 wide receiver on that team because they're using Deebo so much
as the running back,
as a running back.
Yeah, basically as an H-back.
And now Deebo is hurt.
Yep.
Ayuk to the fucking moon.
Well, not Ayuk to the moon, but sure.
Yeah.
I would, you stick with Ayuk. It's not even It's not even is Cole Beasley going to have a good game. Is it Cole Beasley or Emmanuel Sanders? That's really the question you want to ask.
I mean, even
yourself.
2 weeks ago, Gabby Davis got involved, so it's all just
but there's, there's, I guess, the second
role,
option. Yeah. Davis. I thought for the longest time Davis would just run opposite Stephon Diggs wide open because Stephon Diggs would be double covered the whole time. Turns out Stephon Diggs can still break whatever coverage is given to him.
So it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. Stick with Ayuk. Just roll there. From Q McBride, what's going on, fellas? What's going on, Q? In a peeper, choose two. Darnell Mooney, David Montgomery, or Mike Williams. So basically, who are we sitting out of these guys? You have the two Bears playing at home against the Arizona Cardinals, and the Chargers are playing somebody? The Bengals at home?
The Cincinnati Bengals, yes.
Both at home.
In Cincinnati.
Apologies. Williams on the road in Cincinnati, Mooney and Montgomery at home against the Arizona Cardinals, albeit the banged-up Arizona Cardinals as well, but more so on the offensive side instead of the defensive side.
I'm
probably
Williams
starting.
Scares me. He's become so.
Oh, see, that's who I like.
The moment you bench him, he's going to go for 35.
See, I always know Williams. I always play
Williams.
matchups, and Cincinnati gives up points to fantasy wide receivers by the ton. So that's where I would go Williams, and then for me, it would come down to if I was a favorite, I would start Monty. If I was an underdog, I would start Mooney. It's a great question.
Yeah, I'd say Mike Williams is the definite. Mooney has been so hot, and Montgomery has been so bleh. I will ride with the two receivers in this instance. There's just something about Arizona's defense that I thought from the beginning just wasn't right. Like, that defense was not built to go undefeated. It was not built to be a Super Bowl contender. I don't like their secondary outside of Budda Baker, so I'll go Darnell Mooney at home too. In Chicago in December is the real differentiator for me, with Darnell Mooney. So I would go Mooney and Mike Williams.
Yeah,
Josh?
I'll follow suit there. I think it's so weird because like when you look at like the points against, like Cincy is very middle of the road against wide receivers.
Yeah,
Arizona's really good, but they can get burned so deep.
I was just gonna say,
that's where Mooney lives.
And even if you go look at Cincy's numbers, they give up a bunch of double-digit points to wide receivers, just no huge boom games. So.
And also to speak on Mooney, there's some guys where they can almost be matchup proof. Mooney isn't there yet, but there's guys who say are matchup proof. Devontae Adams is matchup proof. Why?
I will say this: if they end up starting Fields, does that sway you any more on Montgomery over, say, Mooney?
I would start Montgomery.
Against Arizona.
I would be more comfortable starting Montgomery because teams will have to worry about Fields' rushing ability and not just Monty's rushing ability. And also I think Justin Fields is a piss-poor actual quarterback, so he's shown that in droves this season.
But he's also shown that he has a really good connection with Mooney, too.
But that's the thing, is you're betting on that perfect pass from Justin Fields because it literally needs to be perfect.
Well, that's the same issue with Monty. You're just praying for a touchdown because he hasn't scored one in his last two games, and it's been rough. And Arizona is only giving up, a touchdown every 3 games to running backs, and that's receiving.
Okay, cool. So Monty's due then, right?
Monty's due.
But just the guys that are matchup proof, like Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, we almost say just start against anybody. Like these guys that are matchup proof, they're the best route runners in the NFL. It doesn't matter how good of a defensive back you are, you can't cover Devontae Adams route running. You
cover
simply
the whole game.
You can't exactly. You can't cover it the whole game. So Mooney, I would argue, is the 4th best route runner in the NFL behind Adams, Keenan Allen, and Calvin Ridley in that order.
I don't know if I'd put him that high yet, but he's definitely got.
He's definitely not a better route runner than Diggs, so he's at least 5th.
Mooney has made the best of them look dumb. So, and again,
yeah, but according to you, there are no good cornerbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. There are no good cornerbacks in the
NFL. So it really doesn't matter.
But the ones that the general populace thinks are good, Jalen Ramsey, Mooney has smoked Jalen Ramsey on multiple occasions. The issue is he doesn't have the quarterback to frickin' throw him the football.
It's rough.
So I would just roll with Williams and Mooney. But to Ryan's point as well, your safer bet for a floor if you're favored is David Montgomery.
Yeah, Monty's going to get you 8 points. It's either 8 or 14. He's either scoring or he's not scoring.
Yeah.
So
yeah. From Will, here any updates on Kyler? His backup is Kirk Cousins, which seems pretty safe against the lowly Detroit Lions. But if not, it's
1 o'clock. So
yeah, I got the sleeper blurb today that just said he hopes to play this week, which coming off of a bye, it doesn't sound great to me. I'm like,
honestly, if you're Arizona, I get you are playing for home field advantage. That is huge this year in the playoffs. Yeah. You don't want to go to Lambeau in January unless it's
that one bye week.
Yeah, unless it's the NFC Championship game when Aaron Rodgers turns to mush. Honestly, I would just start Kirk Cousins. They might pull Kyler at halftime if he even does start, or he may come out early. Kirk Cousins is not a bad play this week, especially against the Lions. So just roll with Kirk. Even if Kyler's healthy, you'll be fine either way.
That's fair. The Bears' defense isn't awful. So.
The Bears' defense is good.
Yeah.
The Bears' defense is good, especially at home. And again, it is a dome, fair weather team, like desert team, going to Chicago in December. For those who have never been to Chicago in December, it is not 86 and sunny.
No, it's not Arizona.
Not Arizona. It is not a climate-controlled dome. So the Cardinals might struggle. From Q, McBride again needs one. Ezekiel Elliott, James Robinson, Tony P. I have contemplated sitting James Robinson this week, and I hate to say that. I would roll with Tony Pollard. Of the three, I would probably go with Tony Pollard.
Saints are not a great matchup regardless.
But Robinson's going to LA.
To go up against that defense.
And here's the thing. Are the Jaguars going to even sniff inside? I think inside the 30 is a reasonable question. Like, do the Jaguars even get inside their own 30? Because they don't have a return game anymore. Jamal Agnew's on IR. So I don't even think they get there.
Tavon Austin.
The ghost of Tavon Austin. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll agree. I'll go Pollard.
Pollard just for the receiving upside potentially there.
I'm still going to ride James Robinson. I know that offense has been so bad, but he has one finish outside of the top 20 since week 2. Like, he's still being used. He's effective in that offense. Like, to me, he's just the safer bet all the way around.
You're not wrong. He is the safer bet. Back-to-back weeks he'll be playing NFC West teams.
Yeah.
So
there's that.
I think Pollard, just because they manufacture touches for him. Robinson's going to get touches. The issue is he's might not do anything with them because his O-line sucks and he's playing Aaron Donald.
I think Tony Pollard of those three is the biggest. He's just the biggest swing because you really don't know how involved he's going to be.
Yeah.
The reason I think I put Pollard is because there's potential that they manufacture touches for him, that there's potential that there's one of those touches in those plays that the Saints don't see coming, and he could outlap Zeke and J-Rob in that one play.
Absolutely good.
But
that's the thing. You're literally banking on one play.
Oh, you're 100% banking on that one play. Because you're banking on that one play, but I think across the board, if Pollard busts, he's probably putting up maybe 1, maybe 2 less points than Robinson or Zeke.
And that's fair because I was going to ask if it's PPR. The more I'm digging into this Cowboys situation, I think Zeke is going to carry the ball in equal amount. I see the passing game work going to Pollard, and if it's PPR, that could be just.
But even then, the Saints they don't surrender a ton of receptions to running backs.
Oh, I agree.
No, true. But if Pollard gets 3 receptions, that matches Robinson and Zeke's yardage total from last week. So And again, Robinson has been catching the ball out of the backfield. But again, I don't like that Jaguars matchup at all. If the Rams do not absolutely talk about a get right game, this is the perfect get right game for the Rams. If they don't get everything right this game, that team is seriously in trouble.
Yeah.
So I roll Pollard. I do think James Robinson is the safest one of the three, but I still think if Tony Pollard misses, he's only missing by 1 to 2 less points than James Robinson, and James Robinson's not scoring a touchdown this week. That's the only if I could say Robinson was scoring a touchdown, it'd be James Robinson, but I don't think he does because they don't get inside the red zone. From Angela, I think Angela's new. I haven't seen Angela in here.
Hello, Angela.
That's my friend Angie.
I figured, yeah.
Angie.
Most of our people on Facebook are friends and family. We appreciate you, Angie. Should take the chance that Kamara plays tomorrow, going up against a formidable opponent. Well, good news, Angie. If he doesn't play, you can take him out. You're playing Kamara if he plays.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Yeah, I'm in the same predicament where I have Kamara. My second running back is David Montgomery. I am putting in Alvin Kamara if he starts.
Oh, I agree. I mean, honestly, I think the Saints are going to have to throw a lot. I think Taysom Hill is awful, and so I think Kamara should be in for a huge game if this game goes the way I expect it to.
Yeah, should be. That's the key word. But when Taysom Hill was starting last year, Kamara didn't really see a ton of passes.
Yeah.
Here's the good thing, I guess, with Hill starting. It's good and bad, right? Bad, the box should have 8 people in it at all times.
Yep.
The good, they do have to account for 2 guys coming out of the backfield instead of 1.
And when there's 8 in the box.
3, honestly, though, if they end up with like 21 personnel where they put Ingram and Kamara
they
and
could
Taysom Hill back there.
They could run a split backfield.
Well, I was going to say, and the great thing about 8 in the box, especially with a guy like Kamara, is if you get past the second level, you've scored a touchdown. So
no one's catching him.
Yep.
No one's catching him. Trayvon Diggs is fast. Alvin Kamara is still pretty damn fast.
Yeah, I mean, Angie definitely has some people currently in her starting lineup that she could easily pull out.
I think
for Kamara. So
Joe hit it on the head. If Kamara's active, you're playing him.
And if he's not, you're SOL, right?
Yep.
Like if the best question for an injured person is if they play on Thursday night, because then you don't have to worry.
Yep.
If it's a question, if it's 4:00 game and a 1:00 game on Sunday, that's when we have to make the tough decision.
Or if your IDP, your best IDP gets put on the COVID list again, and you just don't know what the hell's going on.
Was that TJ Watt? TJ Watt. Yeah, freaking TJ Watt. Although I will have to say, I didn't realize TJ Watt was active last week, and I started Jeffrey Simmons in his place. Jeffrey Simmons had a much better week. I would have probably started Jeffrey Simmons regardless in his place, just because I know New England was a run heavy defense. But yeah, I have TJ Watt on COVID. I had Jeffrey Simmons on a bye, and I have Fred Warner doubtful. So I'm like,
we're in a similar situation. I have Watt, and then I had my God, I lost the guy's name. The new guy on the Panthers from Arizona, Hassan Reddick. Yeah. So Ryan, here's a couple guys. I went big sack heavy this week. And again, this is for it. I'm interested to hear who you went. Yeah, I want to, because I picked my guy up already.
I went big sack heavy. Oh, also Eric Kendricks is questionable, so I didn't realize that. That's fun.
Yeah.
So Watt was on COVID. Fred Warner's doubtful. Shaq Thompson on a bye. So I really needed people.
You're not going to believe who was available for me. You're going to be shocked.
Oh, I picked up Chandler Jones.
Okay.
To play him
That's a great pickup.
against Chicago. And Robert Quinn against Arizona. So same game.
Both guys. I promise you, Joe, I got Robert Quinn.
Yeah.
We're running the same team. I grabbed Camu Grugier-Hill to play in my IDP spot. So
Grugier-Hill, you just really have to hope for a turnover.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping high tackle numbers. So.
High tackle numbers are a turnover. Yeah, I didn't realize how many sacks Robert Quinn had until I saw them flash it on the broadcast. In the past 2 weeks in 4-eyed, he scored a combined 64 points.
Yeah, he's the number 2, if I clicked it correctly. He is the number 7 linebacker and was available in both our leagues. What are you guys doing? Just
Chandler Jones is the number 8, and
he
was also available. He just dropped 30 against the Seahawks last week. So yeah, on my teams now, I have the number 1 linebacker in TJ Watt, the number 7 and the number 8. This is fun.
I don't think
fun. I love
Sleeper
IDP.
really fully updates their rankings very well. Yeah, because I don't think TJ Watt is the number 1 linebacker.
I think he is.
In 4i, yeah, I think he might be.
Yeah, he is. TJ Watt has one game under 17 points, not including last week where he left.
And he's missed like 3 games too.
He's still. Josh, he's put up over 40 points twice. Like that's gross.
I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, go ahead, bring it up. For all of our IDP listeners.
Josh is right. Roquan Smith by a large, not by a large margin, 241 points at the linebacker spot. Oh wait, don't they? Yeah, and then Watt is at 219. So.
I don't doubt that. Roquan Smith has been a tackle monster this year. He's been all over
Parsons
the field.
At 238. Now, if you win defensive lineman, he's tied for first with Miles.
I wonder if these rankings are based on, I don't know what it's based on, like regular scoring, but Roquan should be number 1 in any scoring.
Yeah, so. Honestly, sleeper IDP, they don't update.
Hey, they're improving. They're improving.
Yeah, they are improving. Blue Crew,
what's up?
9-3, baby.
Oh, man.
Let's go. Got one more for you. PPR, Zachary Ertz or Noah Fante. So Ertz going to Chicago. One of the few guys on the roster that has played in cold weather. He played in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And then
just so good lately.
Yeah. Noah Fant going into Kansas City on Sunday Night Football. I mean, you got to go Ertz. He's been absolute money.
Yeah, I was going to say Fant definitely has the better matchup, but if you're following trends here, I think
Ertz has been money.
Ertz.
I was going to say, it's so funny because I knew you both were going to say Ertz, and you guys both know I'm a matchup guy, so I'm going to say Fant. So.
Well, but here's the thing. Fant will see Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, and Kansas City has sucked against tight ends.
Third most points to the fantasy tight end this year.
I understand that. But when Fant sees Tyrann Mathieu, he's not going to be catching the football.
So here's what concerns me, and you kind of have a point here. So Kansas City gives up, where am I at? The 8th most points to the fantasy tight end. What concerns me is Albert O has played well when he plays. And if Teddy is afraid of Mathieu, all of those tight end points could funnel to Albert O.
Yeah, because he will most likely get Dirty Dan in that matchup or one of their god-awful linebackers that they employ on that team.
I will say Ertz has less chance to bust, but I don't know that he has the ceiling. Chicago's been pretty well against the tight end. So,
I'm saying both of their well, actually, I wouldn't say both their matchups. Fant's matchup is much better than Ertz. Eddie Jackson is a solid safety against tight ends, and also if Robert Quinn's in your backfield in a second and a half, the quarterback just doesn't have time to throw the football.
Yep.
But if Kyler's back, I think that's a good sign. Even if not, Colt McCoy has obviously shown he wants to throw.
Well, I was going to say, I wonder if Colt McCoy is not a better option for Zach Ertz because you're not worried about him stealing the inside the 5 touchdowns.
Colt McCoy still sucks.
He does. I'm just saying for Ertz.
That's true. Colt McCoy's still garbage, but yeah, Ertz is safer, Fant, if you need that ceiling. But and again, it's which Kansas City Chiefs team are we getting? Are we getting the Chiefs team that is going to curb stomp the Broncos like they should? I believe they're 8-0 against the Broncos under Patrick Mahomes. So is it going to be that team, or is it going to be the team that showed up against these lowly, that showed up against the Titans? I believe they lost to them.
Yeah, is that about one?
Like that stretch of games where it literally looked like they couldn't compete in the XFL, let alone the NFL. So
isn't Andy Reid like notoriously good coming out of bye weeks too, though? So
yeah, I think he's only lost like 2 or 3 career games outside of a bye.
There's coaches that are just dumb amazing out of buys. It's Belichick, John Harbaugh, and Andy Reid. They almost never lose coming out of a bye. And hey, shout out to Jim Harbaugh. Congratulations on figuring out the damn recipe. Also, he didn't beat Ohio State. Ohio State beat themselves. I think they had 7 false start penalties.
I don't know.
Gross.
I don't know player names because I don't follow college, but I watched the game because all my friends were watching the game, so nobody would play Call of Duty with me. That running back from Michigan looked great. But what's funny is all I heard about was this Ohio State quarterback after this Michigan State just ass whipping. He looked so bad in that game. So it was fun.
CJ Stroud is super hot and cold because there's been games where he throws for 5 touchdowns, and I think his first game of the season, I think he had 3 picks.
Yeah, he started slow. He's
started real slow.
Been a lot better of late, but yeah.
And is that Michigan running back legit, or is this just like a one?
Oh, Michigan State, Kenneth Walker. Oh,
no, Michigan. The kid,
Michigan.
Michigan.
I can't remember his name, but he looked good.
Michigan
but I
has some
understand
good
sometimes
backfield.
you just look good against the team. I know enough about college
to correct you real quick, Joe. Patrick Mahomes is 7-0 in his career.
7-0. They said he was going for 8-0. Yeah. That's what I heard. I heard 8-0
now, to
be
fair, they have never lost to Denver since they drafted Mahomes. But Mahomes didn't play that first game.
Mahomes didn't play there. Okay. I got you. Yeah, because that Week 17 win was against Denver, correct? That first year?
Yeah.
I heard 8-0 on GMFB this morning. Had it really low because it was 7 in the morning and I didn't want to wake up Maggie. So it was very low. I heard 8-0. So thank you, Josh. That was again, Kansas City should win. They should be good. They should be all right. I would like them to lose so I could win my damn bet. But that bet washes away because I had Danielle Hunter as comeback player of the year, and they were both $25 bets. So it's a wash. And one of the bets was a free play bet. So I guess either way, I either owe $25 or I owe nothing. So I'd rather owe nothing than $25, but we'll see. Okay. Upside downside. Let's go. At the 56-minute mark. Josh, you were 3-1 last week. You got Derek Carr against the Washington football team, Elijah Mitchell in Seattle, Josh Reynolds against the Minnesota Vikings.
Love it.
I mean, he's the only guy Jared Goff apparently knows how to throw the ball to.
Exactly.
And Minnesota sucks.
Awful.
Against wide receivers. And we know that Alexander Madison's going to curb stomp them. They're going to have to throw to catch up.
It's amazing, like, how good Eric Kendricks is and how good Harrison Smith is. And the rest of their defense
just terrible.
Is awful. Awful. And yeah, real quick. Remember when you all tried convincing me that fat bum Randy Bullock? I was not in that conversation, Gianni. I was on the other side. I said Randy Bullock was terrible.
I try to stay out of kicker conversations because...
No, I was definitely defending Randy Bullock.
Yeah, Ryan was defending Randy Bullock. That was 100% Ryan defending Randy Bullock. He said him and Badgley forever blow. Michael Badgley, I believe, has not missed a kick since the first one he missed.
I thought,
yeah, he's done well in Indy. So the Michael Badgley take isn't looking good. Randy Bullock has forever sucked. I don't know how he still has a job. So yeah, Randy Bullock's terrible. And Josh, your upside tight end.
Jordan.
I was gonna put Brevin Jordan. I didn't realize you put him, so I went in the duped.
I was looking at the snap counts. He actually tied with Pharaoh Brown for the most tight end snaps last week. Yep. So that tells me they've slowly been amping them up.
Have.
So
well, we said
yeah.
I think we said coming up because Brevin Jordan he came out of Penn State, correct?
No, that was Freiermuth. Brevin Jordan out of Miami.
Miami. Okay. No, I thought there was a guy 2 years ago that came out of Penn State. I must be thinking of a different guy. Okay. Who went to Los Angeles? Wasn't there a tight end that went to Los Angeles that we were talking
Bryson
about?
Hopkins.
Bryce. Yeah. Thank you. That
he
guy.
Went to
Purdue. Sorry. Yeah, we were talking about how he couldn't block, but he was a great receiving tight end. That's what I was thinking of. I thought you said the same thing about Brevin Jordan. He wasn't a great blocker, but he's just a great athlete and a great receiver.
Very good athlete, but they're actually running him in line quite a bit. So, and I think that was a lot of it too. I mean, and that's the thing with rookie tight ends. That's why it takes them so long to take off because they're not learning one position. They're learning two. They're learning the routes from a receiver and the blocking assignments when you're in line. So,
and that's because the tight ends you see take off early, they already know how to block, so they don't need to learn that. Like Kyle Pitts was able to take off earlier because Kyle Pitts is a freak athlete. He can also block.
Yep.
Pat Freiermuth, he's a massive size of a human being. He can also block.
Well, and I think the thing that's helping Pitts is not being in line I'm not saying it's easier to block out there, but it's easier to block out there. You're not learning straight up offensive lineman assignments.
He's a 6'6", 250-pound tight end blocking
corners.
Yeah, 5'10", 190-pound corners. It's a lot easier than blocking. Who's in his division? Cam Jordan, Vita Vea, Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaq Barrett. The list goes on. Brian Burns, like much easier blocking. Marshawn Lattimore than it is to block Cam Jordan in line. Ryan, you were 1-3 last week on upsides. You got Jimmy G in Seattle, Devonta Freeman in Pittsburgh, Odell Beckham against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Let's do it.
I mean, again, if the Rams don't get right this game, something is wrong.
Yep.
Dial 911.
Beckham tied for the team lead in targets. So.
I mean,
he had a touchdown last week.
Yep.
So
I mean, despite the piss poor performance Matt Stafford put on, he still got me 40 fantasy points last week. So, and then you have CJ Uzama against the Los Angeles Chargers. Okay. I mean, don't take this advice. Don't take the quarterback advice. Please, God, don't take it.
So that is my downside advice. I just want to throw that out there.
Do not take this advice. I was honestly just looking through quarterbacks and matchups, and I was trying to find one because honestly, I thought the ones that you should start. The ones that you shouldn't start, and there was no like middle of the line guy that was really jumping off the page to me. I thought of Derek Carr, so I liked the Derek Carr pick, but there was no middle of the line guys kind of jumping off the page. I'm like, well, if the fucking Giants can beat the Eagles, why can't the Jets and Zach Wilson?
Because the Jets literally in franchise history have never, ever beaten the Eagles.
Have they really never beaten the Eagles?
Never.
Okay, they won't beat the Eagles, but Zach Wilson might throw for 2 touchdowns?
That Zach Wilson shovel pass will forever be etched in my brain as
Zach Wilson's bad.
Of all time.
Zach Wilson's bad.
Zach Wilson was not ready for New York.
Nope.
If you need a prayer at quarterback, Zach Wilson's at home in the same stadium.
If you need a prayer at quarterback, check out my stream of the week video tomorrow and do not start Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson's bad. Zach Wilson's bad. I want it to be known now that I don't want you to start Zach Wilson. I just want you to know that if you started him and he pans out, you're welcome.
Joe just wants to be hella right if this somehow works.
I won't even take a victory lap on it. I will say I am the luckiest.
Yes, you will.
No, I won't. No, because I'm literally saying right now.
Joe, there's never been a victory lap that you haven't stared in the face and said, oh, I'm taking this one.
But here's the thing. I'm telling you I'm wrong. Like, I'm telling you right now that I'm wrong. Like, this is not right. I will say on the show next week, if Zach Wilson...
for that, I'm so putting him in one random DFS lineup just for shits and giggles.
Yes. If Zach Wilson finishes top 15 by Monday night, I promise I will come on the show next week and I will start. I am the luckiest son of a bitch in the world. I'm right about a lot of.
You landed Maggie. So.
Yeah, I'm right about a lot of things. Zach Wilson, I don't want to be right about Zach Wilson. Let me be clear. I want to be 3-1 with the one loss being Zach Wilson this week. Oh, he's bad. He's bad. Alexander Madison, that kind of makes up for the Zach Wilson one.
Yeah.
Hunter Renfrow, also known as God on this show. White Jesus, White Mamba, White Chocolate. Yeah, White Jesus. It works. And I took another swing at tight end. Maybe Mo Alley Cox finally catches a touchdown. Mack Truck. I mean, if you want a guy that...
They've been looking at Jack Doyle a lot lately.
Yep. I was thinking Jack Doyle, but he's questionable coming into the week, so I wasn't sure his deal. If Jack Doyle doesn't play, I mean, that helps Mo Alley Cox a lot.
Helps. Yep.
But yeah, Mack Truck in the red zone. I mean, Wentz has been wanting to look his way, and the dude is an absolute freak of nature.
Wentz has played really well of late too. So
Wentz looked great last week, but in classic fashion, Wentz and in the Indianapolis Colts blew a lead. That's just classic Indy and classic Carson Wentz. So, downside, Josh, you were 2-1-1 last week. You got Matt Ryan against Tampa, CEH against Denver, Jamar Chase against the Chargers, and TJ Hawkinson against Minnesota. Ryan, you were 3-1 last week. Taysom Hill against Dallas. I mean, yeah. Zeke Elliott in New Orleans, Michael Pittman in Houston, and Dawson Knox against the New England Patriots.
Michael Pittman is all about it being a TY game.
Yes, sir. Yeah, just to reiterate.
And Wentz is looking downfield for Hilton too. I think Hilton had 1 or 2 big catches against Tampa last week.
Just to reiterate, the club fantasy upside this week is T.Y. Hilton. Reiterate. Last week, I was 3-1. To all my friends that laughed at the tweet that was put out at my record for downsides, fuck you. I was 3-1 last week, you pieces of shit. My one miss was Stephon Diggs because, as I said earlier in the show, it doesn't matter how many people you put to cover him. Nope. Apparently, he'll still break it. I think he finished wide receiver 7 on the week or something like that. This week, my annual Josh Allen at home against the New England Patriots downside. Fair. It's been working. Yep. So we'll do Josh Allen against the Pats. Saquon Barkley is now a staple in my downside lineup until he proves me otherwise. I know he's playing Miami this week. I know.
I mean, it didn't matter last week.
Christian Kirk.
He finished just outside the top.
Well, he
had like 32 rushing yards.
I'd say he certainly combined with Tom Brady to kill my cash lineups last week.
Barkley's oh god, he's so bad.
He finished at running back 30 last week.
Barkley's bad. Barkley is bad. I'm just laying that out there. Barkley is bad. Christian Kirk in Chicago. Again, that was mostly a warm weather team going into coldness. And I double down on Dawson Knox because I'm mad that Ryan keeps taking the downside tight ends against the Patriots. That's my team. So this week,
get to the show sheet sooner, dude. Jeez,
get to the show sheet sooner.
I have all this job and stuff.
I literally filled out. I got to work at 7:30 this morning and still left at 5 because I have so much work.
To be fair, and I'm not saying you don't have a lot of work, obviously you do, but Josh gives it to us on Tuesday. You could get in there before all of us.
I was going to say, normally I give it to you guys Monday night.
Yeah.
So.
I was also at work on Tuesday at 7:30 in the morning and stayed till 5:30 because I have a lot of work to get done, Ryan.
I'm proud of you. You're such a hard worker, Joe.
Thanks, man. We're filming our Christmas video tomorrow, so we won't be able to get any work done because that's an all-day thing. So
I never got a chance to tell you, and I'll just tell you live on air. I thought that video you guys shot was really cool with like the office people like snagging fly balls and everything, and you did great. You looked like an athlete.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that was our idea. For those of you that don't know what he's talking about, go follow us at Bismarck Larks. You can find the front office challenge video. Your boy snagged an early ground ball. Literally the guy who edited it, my coworker, he said, "Yeah, I tried making you look bad, but you didn't have any bad takes." So
I love that everyone in Joe's life just looked for ways to make him look bad. We're all on the same page.
But,
we all need to get together sometime.
But Ryan, can you? Can you is the thing because
maybe if we put all of our fucking heads together, we can figure something out.
Yeah, because he said I tried, but you hit 2 line drives on your batting, you caught both of your fly balls, and you snagged the only ground ball that was given to you because you threw the glove afterwards because it was a one-hopper. It was beautiful. Nailed it. Snagged it. No big deal. It was funny because my dad texted me after the ground ball one. He's like, if you missed that ground ball, I would have been so disappointed in you because I played 9 years of baseball. And then he's like, I hope you caught that damn fly ball that's going to be next. I'm like, yes, I did. Don't worry. I promise. So yeah, my dad texted me afterwards. He's like, yeah, I would have been disappointed in you as a father if you didn't make that play. I was like, oh, thanks, Dad. I haven't played baseball since I was 14, but sure. Let me just dust off the old mitt. Stream of the week. The mathematician in Las Vegas. For those that don't know, the mathematician is the Taylor Heineke. Foster Moreau against the Washington football team. Same game. Foster Moreau is legit if Darren Waller does not play. Yeah. And the Eagles against the New York Jets. Too bad that defense is going to be wrong because Zach Wilson about to pop off.
I do want to throw out, I'm breaking my own rule on Taylor Heineke, but since he missed last week, that just means he's due, and I just like him too much this week.
Heineke?
So. I am curious with Foster Moreau, though, because the one game that Waller missed this year, and it was kind of down to the wire, like they'd game plan for Waller. I don't think that they're actually going to game plan for Waller.
Yeah, because he went 6 for 60 and a touchdown in that game. So
But But do you?
I'm not saying that Moreau is bad. I'm just saying that Moreau is not Waller, so they're not going to try to feature him the same way.
And Washington bad against the tight end. So
yeah, but and again, it's like if you're Washington though, like maybe they're not going to feature Moreau. If you're Washington though, are you game planning around Foster Moreau? Like you're not game planning around Foster Moreau. You're game planning around Darren Waller. You're not game planning around Foster Moreau. To me, if you're the Washington football team, you should be game planning against this. This sounds like music to my ears. You should be game planning against Hunter Renfrow because he is smoking defense.
I think
right
Josh
now.
Jacobs could have a good game this week too. So I'm interested. That's a game I'm real interested in watching actually. So
Josh Jacobs has to be due for a good game because he really hasn't had a good game yet, right? He's like flatlined.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a good game.
He's been very consistent.
I'd say when he scores a touchdown, it's never a big yardage game.
Yep. He's been consistent.
And he's actually been a lot more involved in the passing game the last month or so.
He's just been like, he's been consistently bleh. Not bad, not good.
Not great.
Just bleh. That's all he's been. Thriving on props. Josh, you're 9-2 on the season. Ryan and I are 5-6, so I'm going to take an easy. Josh. Yeah, I'm going to take an easy win this week. Trevor Simeon under 205.5 passing yards. This is live right now. Go bet it if you're new.
They don't change the main slate, so that'll stay on there. So,
use the code CLUB. It'll match your deposit up to $100 instantly. So go on there. Make this bet because it's 100 points. Trevor Simeon is active. He's not hurt. He will be active on Thursday night. This is the easiest money. This is the easiest money you can make. Also, he's the line is 2.5 passing touchdowns and interceptions combined.
You can take the under there.
It's only like 75 points. But free points.
Take those gimmies when you got them.
Literally a free 175 points for you on Thrive.
Well, you take those and it gives you the ability to take some big swings, and that's what's going to swing the contest in your favor. So.
Yes, literally free money sitting right there. Because again, if Taysom Hill gets hurt and Trevor Simeon comes in for 2 snaps, he's not passing those. Also, he's active.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter. They can't take him off the slate because he's active. If they change the whole slate, that's a different story.
I don't think they do.
They don't.
Yep.
So he's active. 175 free points right there for you. Zeke, under 70.5 rushing yards from Ryan. We spoiled it earlier. He only has 2 games over 70 yards this year, and they were both 100-yard games.
And I think the Saints give up 66 total yards to the running back position running the ball or something like that. So.
The Saints consistently, over the last 3 years, have been one of the best run defenses in the NFL alongside the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have been, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've been consistently the 3 best run defenses in the NFL. And Josh, you have Michael Gallup over 42.5 receiving yards. That seems so low.
I'm interested, Josh, and I think you're going to answer this based on our response earlier. With Amari active, does that change your feelings on that at all or no?
I don't know. No. I wouldn't be shocked if Amari plays more of a decoy role anyway.
And we kind of touched on that.
Amari will see Lattimore too.
Is like 283.5 or something like that.
It's kind of high.
I think he's going to go way over that too.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Fuck me, I guess. These are all
Thursday. Anything can happen. Who knows?
Anything can happen.
So it's good. The quarterbacks are going to combine for 200 yards.
But I mean that's a pretty even money thing for me. I honestly thought Gallup was going to be pretty low last week. He blew that over the water. So.
The interesting thing though. This isn't a typical Thursday game because both these teams have had a week to prepare.
Yeah,
it's a very normal Thursday game for them.
So it's like a normal game. They did the same thing last year. They had the Cowboys.
Is it really normal when
Thursdays.
Dallas doesn't have their head coach this week?
Oh, it's actually better for Dallas. They don't have their head coach. Because it's funny if you play Call of Duty Zombies, the thing that it's called a monkey. It's called a monkey. If you wind the monkey and you throw it, all the zombies run to it, right? That's like Mike McCarthy's brain is the monkey playing cymbals. And you just wind it up, and after about 10 seconds...
Jason Garrett. He's the clapper. Come on, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. After about 10 seconds, the monkey explodes. That's Mike McCarthy's brain every 30 seconds. Mike McCarthy...
I think it's called an aneurysm.
No. This is not a thing. This is a thing in my friend group only. We refer to Mike McCarthy as Mike the Monkey McCarthy. Yeah. He's so dumb. He is a terrible head coach. Like, you know how we said that when Matt Nagy got COVID and he was out for the week, that was like
better for the Bears.
It was better for the Bears. This is better for the Cowboys. Obviously, hope a speedy recovery for Mike McCarthy. So, but he has COVID, correct? He tested positive. So speedy recovery to Mike McCarthy. A blessing in disguise for you Cowboys fans. Congratulations. I mean, I'm not going to say Kellen Moore's going to be a good head coach because I really don't think he'll be a good head coach in the NFL. He's a better play caller than Mike McCarthy.
There you go.
That's for facts.
He has no problem letting Dak rip it.
No problem letting Dak rip it. And two, he doesn't have to worry about the defensive calls. Dan Quinn's kind of good at that.
Yeah. I was going to say, and let's be clear, if Kellen Moore's thinking straight about this is an audition tape. So
yeah.
I think Kellen Moore gets a head coaching job
Quinn
next year.
is the acting head coach, I believe, for this game.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that.
You know what's interesting? Because all this college head coaching shuffle.
Yeah.
First off, Lincoln Riley's a dick and USC is stupid. I don't know.
Did you see the notes from the OU meeting where they all just started yelling at him, calling him a liar, and he just stormed out like a bitch?
I don't. What I don't understand is he's leaving a top 10 program in the country.
They're moving to the SEC.
Yep, and he didn't.
He got cold feet.
Because because he knows he can't coach. He can't coach defense. He can't recruit defense. Can't coach defense. So, Oklahoma and Texas are going to get curb stomped in the SEC. Curb stomped in the SEC.
They have to change their entire philosophy, play styles.
Yes, they're going to get curbs. The Big 12 is built on poor defense and high volume scoring offense. Yep. It is not the SEC. The SEC is a barn burner battle, and the bad teams can beat you any week. A la Auburn taking Alabama to the buzzer. And Auburn should have won that game. Whoever the coach is for Auburn deserves to be fired. How do you not double cover that kid Mekhi they threw to him 5 straight times in three consecutive overtimes. 5 straight times they threw him the football. How do you not cover him? I'm sorry. I don't understand that. But yeah, for those that know, Lincoln Riley is going to USC. His contract is absurd. It is ridiculous. He's going to rot away in USC, and he will no longer be relevant. This makes it interesting. There's 2 big head coaching jobs open because Brian Kelly has now left Notre Dame to go to LSU, where he will also ruin his career because he will not be able to coach in the SEC. Notre Dame and Oklahoma, 2 high-profile collegiate jobs are open. It was noted that Washington State wanted Kellen Moore after Mike Leach left to go to Ole Miss.
Interesting.
Or Mississippi State, 1 of 2. I forget where he went. Does Kellen Moore take Notre Dame or the Oklahoma job? And that then might hurt the Dallas Cowboys offense in 2022 because we know Kellen Moore has helped this team.
Is that they actually want Luke Fickell from Cincinnati.
That's a great get.
Which makes Luke sense. I mean, that's where they got Brian Kelly was from Cincinnati.
I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into this. Fickell's an Ohio State guy, and all the reports are Ryan Day's going to the NFL. I wonder if Fickell has any chance of coming back to OSU.
Interesting.
I think Fickell is a fantastic coach. I think Cincinnati deserves a shot in the college playoff.
I agree.
If they're 4, they don't stand a chance against Georgia. But I think it's at least
that's assuming Georgia beats Alabama.
Georgia will curb stomp Alabama. There's no doubt in my mind Georgia destroys that team.
Going on
There's a lot of curb stomping on this show today.
That's a psychological game to me because Kirby Smart they haven't.
Georgia kills them. Bryce Young for Alabama looked
good.
He looked good at points. He looked bad for 90% of that Auburn game.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I was working.
I watched every snap. He made some very impressive throws, but he held the ball too long. He stayed in the pocket too long. He took a lot of sacks in that game, and that Georgia defense is nuts. Like Georgia, here's the thing: Georgia is beating the teams, like the tough teams, right? They're beating the tough teams, but they're destroying the teams that they should destroy. They're not just simply beating them; they're killing them. They killed Georgia Tech last week, 45-0. And Georgia Tech normally plays them tough, but I mean, it's still Georgia Tech. 45-0, that's a killing. So I don't know. I'm interested. It's going to be interesting, and we don't really talk about college on the show, but the reason it's interesting is because there's so many high-profile head coaching jobs out there. Urban Meyer's not leaving Jacksonville. He'd be stupid to leave Jacksonville, because he's going to make more money, I think, as an NFL coach, and he'll make more. He'll be able to do more.
Oh, the way some of these programs are shelling out money to coaches.
Sure, no, that's true. I mean, Urban Meyer should go back to college because he can't coach in the NFL. But
I was going to say, I'm shocked you're not all about Urban Meyer.
Oh, for the Jaguars, I would hope and pray Urban Meyer leaves.
And then maybe they can get Gardner Minshew back.
Yeah, I don't think he will. So I honestly think Kellen Moore could leave.
It's an interesting bring.
That then leaves Mike McCarthy as your play caller. In theory, obviously they would probably bring in an offensive coordinator. But if not, that leaves Mike McCarthy as your OC. Yikes. How do you feel, not as just a Cowboys fan, as a fantasy owner going forward with Mike McCarthy as Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper's offensive coordinator?
Didn't they throw the ball like 700 times when McCarthy was calling plays for Green Bay?
I get that, but how mad were we at Aaron Rodgers for a couple years because he only had like 16, 20 touchdowns?
That's true.
I'm just saying, and we know how bad Mike McCarthy defenses are.
Yeah, you're bringing up all fair points. I just remember the volume was obscene. So
volume was ridiculous, but for a couple years it wasn't good.
The touchdowns weren't there. Yeah.
So yeah, just something interesting to talk about as we wrap up here. Starts at different day this Saturday, 11 a.m. Club Dynasty is back tomorrow night. Josh and Zach, welcome in. Oh, I love Marvin. Marvin joining the show. Absolutely love Marvin from the Fantasy Footballers Dynasty Nerds. If you haven't seen one of our shows with Marvin, please tune in tomorrow, even if you're not a Dynasty player. Marvin, awesome guy, super nice, also has some awesome stats, writes some amazing articles as well.
One of the best, if not the best, Dynasty brain in our industry.
Yes, Marvin is incredible, so please tune into that show. Even if you're thinking about getting into Dynasty next year, watch that show. Marvin is amazing. DFS and Chill, Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. Ryan and Kira preview Week 13 with Clinton Holmgren, writer with the IDP guys.
Third time's the charm, right?
That's right. We will be there Sunday. If Kira's not able to make it, she's getting better, but if she's not able to make it, I will yank Josh in. We'll figure something out. So.
Heck yeah.
That's rough.
Heck yeah.
It'll be the worst. It'll be the worst DFS show you've ever dealt with me and Josh. Clinton will bring some class to the program, but we'll get you through.
Yeah.
No, Kira will be there. We're going to be ready to rock.
Let's go. And that is it. That is it for our show. Another good one. Good one. Some good talks, some good questions. As always, subscribe. We're very close to our 300 subscriber goal. Once we hit that, we'll do a jersey giveaway like we have done at every 50 prior. The last winner won a signed Javonte Williams UNC jersey. For those that are new, be sure to subscribe. We'll spin the wheel. If you're chosen, congratulations. You're going to get a jersey, helmet. It's going to be some signed memorabilia of some sort. For Josh, the one Hudsonian, Ryan, the Fantasy 5, also known as Alexander Hamilton himself. For myself, at Joe_Zollo, you can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. Get your limited edition Ryan Hamilton $10 bills.
I should have put the Club Fantasy logo on there somewhere.
You'll maybe see it on a T-shirt later this year if you feel inclined. Ryan Weisse, a.k.a. Alexander Hamilton, each played a crucial role in the building of America. Just a mere 220 or so years apart.
Yeah. We're basically the same person.
Yes. You can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. Always remember, defense wins championships. Offense wins fantasy football. See you same time, same place next week for Week 14. Last week of the regular season for most of you, so tune in. Want to help you with that final playoff push. And as always, join us on Saturday to answer all of your start-sit questions. Have a great week, everybody. Good luck, and we hope to see you next week with a final playoff push.